now experiencing the Gretna Bill Show.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Gretna Bill Show, a podcast about cycling culture and community locally here in Mount Gretna and in central Pennsylvania and the world, combating disinformation wherever we find it.
Yeah, hi everybody.
How's it going?
Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to another episode of the Gretna Bill Show. Tonight we're going to pay homage to our chief and main sponsor, Lupine Lighting Systems. And of course we're in the dark tonight, and we've got some good stuff to show you tonight, and some really high-tech riding by Pinner Todd and Nicholas. And also I have here Tech Supreme Guru, John, and he's going to help me do some of the filming with you, Josh, and go over a little bit of these mounting systems. So now that it's night season, the first thing we're going to talk about is probably the most single important thing that you're going to want to do to night ride, at least a mountain bike, and that's put a helmet on your light.
Or light on your helmet. I mean, either way.
Yeah, either one will work. So we've got three different setups here, as you can see. So I have a blick on my head, by the way, a Blick headlamp. Again, to demonstrate the versatility of Lupine, you can put any of our headlamps, any of our lights on a headlamp, or mount them on a helmet, or mount them on the bars of your mountain bike or road bike or gravel bike. So with that in mind, this is an older Pico, and you can see we have it mounted with a GoPro mount. Check that out. That's a GoPro mount. So we got the battery mounted on the back, the old school battery with a strap holder. Sometimes you have a non-vented helmet or a vented helmet that doesn't allow you, in this case, go ahead, to use the Velcro straps on your helmet mount, Pico and or Blick and or Wilma, and on your battery fast click. So, you know, if you have a front click and a fast click system, but you can't Velcro those particular fixtures on your helmet because of whatever reason, here we have netting. Sometimes you have a non-vented helmet for climbing or skiing or anything of that sort. So what we've done here is got a 3M product that you can, so how'd you mount those, John?
Yeah, these just be careful that you clean it off really well. Otherwise, you don't really have to worry about this adhesive too much. It's actually the same product, this 3M product, I think it's called 3M VHB, that they use to hold windows and skyscrapers. So it's pretty impressively strong stuff as long as you prepare the surface pretty well. But now you just peel it off and you find a flat surface on your helmet, just stick them on.
Here we have a new Pico, and of course, it is Velcroed. So the front click mount is Velcroed through the vents, and then the fast click mount for the battery is also Velcroed, and that's what your setup looks like. That's probably the most common setup right there, so I saved that for last. So, okay, so for a moment, let's put the helmets away. So here we have the drop bar, and you can see we have an SLA mounted on there, and we had talked about that last episode. That is basically an aspheric lens emulating a car headlamp, so that beam stays down and low and doesn't blind oncoming traffic, commuters, etc. So in this particular case, we have it mounted on a bar fly or K-edge or whatever. You might have those setups on your bar bike already. So what you do is you get a GoPro mount, and in some cases we also can get you this, which is cool because that's the bigger bolt that doesn't come standard with your GoPro paraphernalia or with your bar fly or your K-edge or whatever, but you can get this from us, and that allows you to quick turn it on and off and move it from one mount to another, GoPro mount to another.
These are a really nice flexible mount that they enable you to mount your Garmin on the top and to put a GoPro adapter on the bottom and run them all on one single mount on your bar.
Saving real estate on your bar, which is also key. Right. So here they are. They're on our website. We get the Barfly Max and the Barfly Mini. This is a Barfly Max. Okay, and the reason why they make the Max is because even though this is a smaller computer, the Max is for like a big Wahoo Element or something, so it covers more space. You can see on the Mini, it's just a short arm, and this would have worked. This Garmin would have worked with a short arm. I think this is a 520. So you get the difference between the long and the short arm. That's virtually the only difference between the Max and the Mini. And you can see on the side here, John, you can read them off. You can see all of those computers that it works with. Go ahead, John.
We support Garmin, Polar, Wahoo, Mio, Magellan, Cat-Eye, PowerTap, that's 3 power meters too, and Brighton. I'm not sure I've heard of that one, but no, pretty much anything that you can mount on a standard quarter turn mount or on a GoPro mount you can use with this.
Cool. So, and then of course, as we discussed last time, you got 3 different mounting options that you can see on our website. You got the 32 millimeter, so that goes right up here next to your bar stem on a 31/8 bar, so 32 millimeter, or like on a straight bar on a mountain bike, you got the 22 millimeter, so for the 25/4, it covers that really well and it sits there. And then of course, here we used the bracelet mount, like I'm using here because I have my Lupine blick, in this case mounted on my cool olive headband, and so I've got control of that. All right, so you can also use that on the hoods for your mountain bike, or your drop bar road bike, or whatever. I mean, drop bar road bike or gravel bike. We also, as you know, we also put these LEDs when we install them in lamp heads. So this is cool. This is a Pico TL Mini. It's a Pico TL Mini. And the thing that's cool about this is done with a belt clip, so it can flip on your belt. So you can take it anywhere you want, and you can backpack with it, camp with it, whatever. But you can also buy a mount that goes on the bottom. It comes with 2 O-rings, a 31/8 and a 25/4.
Yeah, it just screws right in with a little thumb wheel, allows tool-free mounting of that on your handlebars.
On your handlebars. So you got a flashlight and you got a bike light. And then of course, there are certain people that require this, which is a 5,000 lumen Betty TL2 Pro flashlight. Yeah, awesome piece. John, talk a little bit about this and all the options. Like, you have some great options on
These
there.
were originally designed, I think, for the Norwegian police department. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
This can snap into an orbital charging dock that charges it and it clicks in and out. You can charge it either in your vehicle or your home. And we have a few different LED boards actually available for this. There's the standard one, I believe, is a red LED in the center. And then we offer them with 3 different color temperatures, so a lot of photographers buy these lights. And then we have, this one has a UV option in it, which is great for hunting or finding leaks in your car or all sorts of things like that. But
and then I have the red option in mine.
Yeah.
Cool. So, all right. So that was quick down and dirty for night riding. It's that season. And to that end, tonight we have a special guest. Come on in here, Todd. Riding for Team Noli. Todd Nicholas, come on, step up here, brother. So, first of all, you're going to be riding a Noli. We're going to go over your bike here in a minute to see what you've got. But in this particular case, we're going to look at his rad helmet. So tell us a little bit about this helmet, the light you use, and so on and so forth. How you mounted it.
Well, this has the Velcro mount.
Which you were lucky because the vents fit up. So
yeah, luckily there's a lot of vents on this helmet. This is a Fox Pro frame. I like to ride a full face, and this thing's pretty nice with the level of ventilation. So I can get away with doing some fancy things, Velcroing the battery to the back of the helmet through the vents.
And that's got the fuel gauge on it, so you can, that doesn't have the fuel gauge, but okay, got it.
So, and then luckily because there's so many vents, I can run the light up there, and this is a Neo, a 900 lumen Neo. I can get away with a little bit on the top, just be able to look around corners and some of the blind spots because I have a 7200 lumen Alpha on the handlebars.
So to be clear, I mean, if you're going to have one light, you're going to put it on your helmet.
Yes.
When you're mountain biking.
So you can look around corners. That I can leave this on the helmet
almost all year round.
Yeah, and you don't notice the weight.
So
the same could be said if this was a Pico with the appropriate fast click,
or a Blick, or even a Wilma or a Betty. We can put all those on the helmet. Like, and you'd go up in class. So if you went up to a 4 LED Wilma at 3200 lumens, or a Betty at 5000 lumens and 7 LEDs, you would put that maybe on your helmet if that was your only light.
Yes.
Because it allows you to go left and right. But in this particular case, Todd's got the mother of all lights on his handlebars, the Alpha, and so he can get away with just minimalism on the helmet.
Yes.
And to be clear, the ideal setup is to have a light on your helmet and a light on your bars that's a little bit more powerful.
Yeah.
Would everybody agree with that? So, I mean, yeah, that's the ideal setup.
Having the brighter light on your bars gives you a lot more directional point.
Right. So if you only got to go with one in the beginning, you go with something on the helmet, and then you add the bar light later. Of course, when you have drop bars, that's a whole nother story. People aren't usually riding with a helmet light. The thing to note is that, quick comment on versatility. So, as always, past, present, future, all the lamp heads work with all the batteries for the most part. Work with all the chargers. So it's total versatility. The connectors haven't changed past, present, future. Tell us a little bit about your bike. Noli, what model is it?
The Warden, it's a 27.B, trademark on that, frame. I've had this for a little while. Started out 2017 with this, and I'm running it through the rest of the season till the new Warden LT is out. Check that out on nolibikes.com. One thing, oh geez, I don't even know where to start, but
there's your Alpha.
This is the Alpha right here. This is the big boy.
7,200 lumen.
Yes. Battery on the top tube.
Remote mounted up there, so you got it on your right shifter.
Yep, it's real close, so it's right where everything happens, right in my range of control. You can put it on either side, whatever makes the most sense.
Stopper post, where's that control at?
That one's right here. It's a wolf tooth, and this is a 1-up,
and
170.
What kind of tires you running?
Maxxis Mini DHF. They're DDs. There's a Huck Norris insert in the rear, no insert in the front to save a little bit of weight since I'm running.
How much travel you got front rear?
This is a DVO Diamond 160 mil fork with it's got 150 travel in the rear, and this is a Fox X2 float, which is absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love this.
Crank Brothers pedals.
Yep. And these are the long spindle. Spread your feet out just a little bit more. They have I believe 1.5 millimeters extra long spindle, which helps with the stability in the rocks that we have here.
How about your gearing?
So one other thing I want to point out too, since we're on this point, race face vault hub, which has 120 point engagement, very similar to i9. So you get that instant traction, which is a big thing I noticed when going with the longer spindles.
And although you have a wolf's tooth and you have a clutch derailleur,
yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
But you're still using a chain guide of sorts. So
yeah.
So what's the logic there?
Well, believe it or not, it's just rocky enough. This bike I can take on XC rides here around town, and I can also take it to the resorts and basically ride downhill.
You're not going to lose your chain ever.
No, that's to make sure it stays on there. One thing I always wanted to point out with these frames, this version of Noli frames all have this spot that's very convenient right here. This is what it would look like if there's nothing there. This is just about a 6.8 soft shell Lupine battery pouch, and I'm able to put my multi-tool, chain tool, a couple links, tire lever, a few little basic things like that. But I love this little detail in the frame design, and this is across all of the current Noli frames, is that they just have this kind of little divot right there, and it just fits so perfectly to carry your tools. Keeps so you don't have to ride with a backpack all the time.
And tonight we have a special guest in the house.
Yes.
Do you think she can come over here? Brylan, come on in. We want to introduce. Go ahead, Todd. Introduce who we got.
My 9-year-old daughter here, Brylan. So, getting to experience bikes for more, I would say, especially for the first time in the dark.
So what we want to do now is we're going to go out and we're going to do some. We're going to go behind HQ here, and we're going to do some killer riding with Todd at the helm. Yeah, Todd, great job, man. So how'd that feel, dude?
Pretty good. Got to give a big shout out to Cameron Nyquist for putting in the hard work back there with the new jumps and the new section. Just want to give some acknowledgement there. It was good stuff. Everything was nice and dusty.
Noel Buckley for building the bike.
Yes. Beautiful Noli behind me.
Stefan and Wolf for building those lights.
Yes.
In Germany.
Yes.
And yeah, dude. So who now is that on the new Strava HQ?
No, that has not been identified on Strava yet.
So no one's
if anybody
got-
knows what if that is being picked up on their current segments, that would be good to helpful to know, so we can make a new one and include the new stuff, so we can all race it.
You think that one's further away from the old downhill, the DH to HQ, that it's not going to pick up on?
That's what I'm curious about. So if anybody has any input on if theirs is getting tagged, their segments are getting tagged in their rides, it'd be helpful to know.
So obviously, you know, the best quality of the Alpha, as we talked about so many times, it's not just 7,200 lumens, but it's 7,200 lumens, and the way they have 6 LEDs, right? Or seven.
To look at the light.
Yeah, 7. Okay, my point is that the lens are focused in different directions. So not all 7 go once. So you got a certain number of them that are focused down into the foreground, correct?
Yes.
And then you got another 3 or 4 that are focused way out. So what you get like 2 levels.
That's one of the biggest differences between the Alpha and even as close as the Betty. And
At
that's
5,000 lumens.
The 5,000 lumens, and that extra 2,200 is only really noticeable once you get above about 30 miles an hour, and you have terrain that you have to deal with. You can see that much further out. It's almost better than daylight at times, because you can see that far out ahead of you.
Speaking of daylight, so you know, all along you've been working with Lupine for 20 years or so.
Just about.
Yeah, and one of the hallmarks is people go, well, I put this 2,000 lumen light Lupine against another 2,000 lumen light, but yours looks way better. Why is that? And we were just talking about that earlier. Kelvin, which is color temperature. So Lupine tries to tune all their lights to about 6,500. 6,500 is daylight. Okay, 6,500 Kelvin color temperature is basically the sun's light. And so that's why photographers like it, and that's what your eyes like. They love that. It's easy on the eyes. There's no depth perception anomalies that you would find with lights that aren't tuned properly.
Yeah.
And that all has to do with the heat management too that's going on. But you know, if you're not at 6,500 Kelvin or whatever, you're going to get those weird Halloween shadowy kind of a thing. You know, like the weird eerie depth perception. It doesn't like look right. So
What we used to
you
get
wanna
with the old
comment?
halogens.
Yeah, comment on that.
Yeah,
if
the
you-
old halogens were notorious for that, and they would leave halos. You didn't have a nice even spread, and that's what a lot of the Lupines do. All the newer stuff have a very, very smooth, even spread of light wash, if you would call it, and it takes out it just looks like daylight. And there's times when I feel like it's even better because you don't have any kinds of weird shadow. Certain times of the day, like at peak sunrise, sun. What do you call it? Like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and the sun's directly over top.
Yeah.
It can cast some strange shadows, but with the lights at night, they can really cast correct shadows. It gives you the right contour of the land.
So it's not just 2,000 lumens. You know, anybody can buy a Cree LED or a Sol LED from
Indeed.
and say, oh yeah, we can get 5,000 lumens or whatever. But there's a couple of key differences. The lensing is very critical of how you focus that light. The heat management, so you don't degrade that LED in the internals of the electronics. So the heat management system, which a lot of people don't pay any attention to, you know, the Chinese imports that are coming over. So
That's something that's real nice about the Alpha too, is that, and a lot of the other, like the Betty also, when they back down the heat automatically, if the light itself is getting too hot. And I even experienced some of that tonight riding, because it's very humid right now. And yeah, my last top to bottom run, I did see it back down, or the blue LED indicator on the back of the lamp. I did see it when I got to the bottom here. I had back down one step. However, that little bit is not noticeable.
Tech Guru John was doing a great. The episode's going to be released Thursday, I believe, this week. where we looked at the old 1800 Pico versus the 900 Pico, and John and Josh here, they did some time-lapse photography, and they've really got that dialed. The 1900 lumen was able to stay on bright way longer, so they're continually working on that aspect of it. And yeah, so the heat management is critical, and those guys have been the leaders in the field and dialed that in for so many years now. And so, you know, with all those things considered, you're going to get longevity out of your light. So, so somebody says, I'm not spending, you know, $400 or $500 when I can get $100 or $200. It's like, wait a minute, amortize that out over 7, 8, 9, 10 years. I know John's sitting over there, tech guru, and John, I mean, he's busy all the time, but he's not like the Whirlpool salesman dude, you know, where he's just sitting there because our shit doesn't break. We don't have to warranty stuff usually in 1 or 2 years, but what he's busy at doing is repairing 8, 9, 10-year-old lights, right?
I was sure we had a guy with a battery who called in this week. I think he bought his battery in 2006, and he was just calling about repairing it this week. So, no, definitely, you know, you get the occasional, everyone has something that will fail or people beat things up, but for the most part, most of the lights seem to make it a really long time.
Don't worry, we're here, we're riders, we understand what you got to do, that you need your light, and we're going to fix the stuff. And again, look at the amortization schedule for all you bankers out there, and over 8, 9, 10 years, we're going to keep that thing running no matter what. And you know, there's upgrades available. That used to be our shtick in the old days, was that if you're buying a you know, an 1800 lumen Betty at the time, now it's up to 5,000. We had 3 or 4 upgrades you could buy from us. Yeah, $130, and then insert the new board and the new lensing, and all of a sudden you've upgraded it.
This was a Generation 1 Betty, and this has a updated LED board and lens system in it. So this is one of those modified
and I got to tell you, I'm looking right in there, and that's a red LED board.
Yep.
There's actually a gold LED board, so we can take that up again, another 500 lumens or so. And then here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. They also came out with, and this adds like about, I think, 6%. So they came out with a coated lens cap that you can screw on, and it is they call it non-reflective, anti-reflective. So that means there's no dissonance, there's no kickback. So when you look through it, when I first got these things, they were an upgrade. You'd look at them and you'd go, the lens is broken. There's no glass in there. It was that pure, and there was nothing being reflected back towards your eyes. And so you would put that on, and it would add 6%. So 6% over like a 5,000 lumen Betty. Somebody help me with the math there. How many lumens is that?
John?
It's 300. Approximately 300 is on 5,000 just by changing the lens to a non-reflective coated lens cap. Just on and on. Just technology is amazing coming out of Germany, and we've been so glad to be associated with them for 20 years. All of us here have been for the most part. And I know Brylan is undercover here for the moment, but could you stand up and show that t-shirt off? Man, I'm so proud of that. You know how much that t-shirt cost me, John? Todd, how much?
A bike shop.
$100,000. That t-shirt's worth.
Actually, wouldn't it be 200,000? Because you need 200,000 to make 100,000. Isn't that how the joke goes?
Right. So that's the old joke about bike shops. It's like, dude, I made $100,000 in the bike industry, and it's like, but I had to start with 200,000. I mean, clearly it's a lifestyle business, but hey, we're here now. We love it, and that's the way it goes. So anyway, Todd, great job tonight. I can't wait to see this podcast. This is going to be awesome, and just so good weather around here. Everybody get out and night ride. Dude, it's just an awesome experience. And you got any closing comments for us?
You don't need to put your bike away when it gets dark.
Yeah.
You just need to get a light.
Let's go, bro.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So here's my favorite outtake of all time. You know how you make $100,000 in the bicycle industry? Start with $200,000.
Charlie Murphy. Charlie Murphy.